Welcome to your very first recorded podcast. It's on the Cornell note-taking system, and this is the way that I want you to take notes in biology class. You will be, instead of me standing up and lecturing, you will be watching and listening to these podcasts and then taking notes according to the way that I've laid out here for you. So, first off, why do we take notes at all? Well, the Cornell note-taking stimulates critical thinking skills, and that's the key to higher learning, is to be able to think critically, to think outside the box, so to speak. Note-taking also helps students remember what is said in class. So if you listen to it and see it and hear it and write it down, your chances of remembering the material are much greater. A good set of notes can help students work on assignments and prepare for tests outside of the classroom. Some more reasons why to take notes. Good notes allow students to help each other problem solve. The way that you're going to be learning in biology this year is going to be probably totally different than you ever learned before. So having good notes will then help you to answer some of the higher level questions, and you're going to be taking some formative quizzes online, and these notes are going to help you then learn the material a lot better. Good notes help students organize and process data and information, and finally, it helps students recall by getting them to process their notes 3 times. So, how to remember information. Studies have shown that it takes a person seeing, hearing, writing, reading, etc., an average of 6 times to retain information long term. The same study shows that if an idea is repeated at least 6 times with periods like sleeping in between, a person will remember about 70% of the information instead of less than 15% of the information if it is not reviewed. So, during the process of biology class this year, you will be taking your notes at home, plus you will have access to my lectures all of the time. So if you are an auditory learner, which means that you listen, and that's how you learn other than taking extensive notes, you can listen to these lectures over and over again because they will be at your disposal on the computer at all times. The study also shows that when 100 people hear an idea, 25 will forget the idea within the first 24 hours. 50 will forget it within 28 hours. 85 will forget it in 4 days. And 98 will forget it by 16 days. So, unless you are one of the lucky 2 in 100 who will not forget, write it down and review it. Your tests are going to be over material that may be 2 to 3 weeks, which is going to be 12 to approximately 20 days. So if you don't have your notes written down that you can go back and review, it's going to be very difficult then to take a test if you don't have something to constantly look over. You cannot possibly remember everything your teachers say or everything that you read. So, take Cornell notes and use them, and review and review and review. And remember, it takes time and practice to be good at this. So, the next couple of slides are going to show you exactly how I want you to take these notes. So, you're going to use your notebook. That's email that I'm getting on my cell phone. All right, back to the Cornell method of note-taking. You're going to use your notebook. You can use any type of, you can use loose leaf paper if you prefer loose leaf paper and want to keep that in your binder. You can use a spiral notebook. You can use a composition journal to take notes. whatever your preference is, as far as if you use a legal pad, you can do that. But whatever type of paper you want to use, it's your choice. But this is going to be the example and the process of how you're going to be taking these notes. So if you look at this, first it says draw a vertical line down the left side of the page. This is the left side of the page. This is the right side of the page. As you can see, there's this vertical line that goes all the way down. Now, if this is the first page of your notes, you're going to continue it all the way to the bottom. You will find out as we're going through how to set up these notes that this particular summary right here is only on the very last page of the notes for that section. So you'll see that it says that it's approximately 2.5 inches in width from one side to the other side. Once again, this is the left side of your notes. This column will include all of your main ideas, and at the end of this, I give you examples on exactly how people have taken these notes so you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. Now, as far as your notes go, your note-taking area is going to be right over here on the right side. So the bulk of the area on your notes, that's going to be 6 inches, is going to be in this particular area in here. Now remember, this summary goes at the very end of your notes. So if it takes you 2 pieces of paper to take your notes, then you're going to continue this line down, and this will be your cue column over here, and then your note-taking area is going to be here going all the way down to the bottom. Once again, as I said before, leave at least 2 inches at the bottom of the last page to record questions to ask. So if you have any questions, anything at all about the notes that you've taken, you're going to put those questions down here in this particular summary area. A summary is added once again, and at the end of all note pages on the subject, not each page. So, for example, you are taking notes on section 1-1. At the end of the notes, that's where you're going to put that particular summary page. Each new section of notes that you take, you're going to start with a new sheet of paper. So when we look at the examples, you'll understand a little bit more about what I mean when it comes to starting with a new sheet of paper. Once again, the summary is added after the questions. Okay, again, what goes where? On your notes, at the very top, you're going to put the topic or the title. So most of the notes, it will say, for example, section 1-1, and maybe section 1-1 is on life. Okay, so up here where you write your topic or title, you'll put section 1-1, and then afterwards you can put life. One of the important things to always do is date your notes so that you can go back and know exactly when you did this, because sometimes, once again, these go over a 2 or 3 week period, and you'll know where to refer back to. Remember, this right here is your 2-inch when you're dividing your paper. This is about 2.5 inches. And here you're going to put headings, keywords, vocabulary words, and questions that you may encounter. The who, what, when, where, how, and why. And when you start taking the notes, this is where you're going to put the headings that I have within the notes. When you take your first set on section 1-1, it will make a little more sense to you as you look at how I've outlined the notes in the PowerPoint. Then over here, This is your 6-inch section from here to here, and this is once again where the bulk of all of your notes go, where the definitions go. So if you put the vocabulary word over here, then its definition is going to go on that side. So you can quickly then scan down this side for key points or main points. And then the notes are going to be in this particular area. Remember, once again, the summary goes at the very end of your notes. The summary goes at the end. So this line may continue down at the end of your first page, depending upon how long the notes are that you're going to be taking. Sometimes I split the notes into 2 sections, which means you might take part 1 and part 2. That means that this summary portion will be at the end of the entire section. So here would be a student sample of Cornell notes, and as you can see on this particular sample, the instructor has given a template for the students to take notes on. I will not be giving you a template. You will be using your own notebook paper. But as you can see from looking at this, you've got, they've got the date up here, they've got the topic, and they've got the question part, which goes down this side, the note part, which goes down this side, and then if this would be the last page, the summary goes right here. Here is another student sample. Once again, it is very clear for you or broken down for you as far as where your questions go, where your notes go, and remember the bulk is going to be in here. Once again, the summary part goes at the end of all of your notes, and the heading should go on every page. As you can see, they're very specific here as far as the date, as far as the section, and then what the topic is going to be about. So section 3-1 was specifically called What is Ecology? And once again, we'll review this as a class. And finally, here would be the last sample. As you can see again, you've got the date up at the top, you've got the topic right here. This is just a regular piece of notebook paper. The student has drawn the line, and or you could actually fold your paper. Once again, if this is continued onto another page, this line would go all the way down with that summary right here being on the very last page of your notes. So here are the main headings. As you can see, problems after World War I, and then the notes are taken over here. Democracy trial, the notes are taken over here. And then any questions that may be regarded to the topic, and then the answers are going to be over here. Once again, once you take your first set or even into your second set of notes, it will become very clear how easy this particular way is to take notes. If you have any questions, please ask.